What's up, Baker? Hi, pretty girl. Hey, how's Baker doing? Did you miss me while I was gone? Oh, here comes Bree. Oh, I got a smallmouth.
I can't catch fish to save my life.
I know, because you're not fishing with the right lure. Well, what's up, guys? It's Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and we are finally back home again. It's been a long week. Houston and I were in Orlando for about 3 days for ICAST, and then I had a surprise trip. My wife surprised me with a trip to the Florida Keys. Did some fishing. That's our first time really adventuring the Florida Keys. It was interesting. I'll say that. It was interesting. The Florida Keys is different than anywhere else we've been in Florida. It feels like you're kind of stepping back into the 80s, 90s maybe. I don't know. It was fun. We caught some fish. Houston caught some freshwater, or he caught some saltwater fish on some freshwater gear. And I don't know, we had a lot of fun. But apparently, we had a pretty sizable storm come through while we were out of town and made a mess. Blew some tree limbs down and things in the yard. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think we got about an inch or an inch and a half of rain a couple nights before we got home. And we've been home for a full day now, and it's still a little wet. That's part of the reason why I haven't cleaned everything up yet. We were busy yesterday. Emily had a doctor's appointment and a few other things going on, but it's still a little bit wet. So I think I'm gonna get the skid steer and the grapple and do some cleaning up. Got some tree limbs down and check on all the animals for you guys. It's like a non-stop battle around here keeping tree limbs cleaned up around the house. And I'm not real sure why that limb fell out of this tree, but it was definitely dead. But I've got a few other problems that I'm not going to be addressing today necessarily, not tackling today. But there's a big dead oak tree in the yard here, and there's a dead tree back there. I'm not real sure what's going on and why trees are dying. But speaking of dead trees, there is one back here that a big limb fell out of, and this tree, I think I know what killed it. Sounds silly, but when we dug the electrical line from our pole to the shop a couple years ago, I think we probably bumped one too many roots, and that tree has slowly died over the last couple of years. And while we were gone, that storm knocked down a big limb. I do need to get that one taken down pretty soon. I don't have the excavator here right now. It's still in town, or I'd get on the other side and push, because I don't want it to hit the shop. But anyways, I think I'll just use the grapple and clean up what has fallen, and need to work on that pretty soon though. Charlie, was everyone on their best behavior while I was gone? Did you keep a good watch out? Keep a good eye on everybody? I know how these girls are. Phoebe, Fallon, and Farrah are a mess. But Brandon, he's usually pretty good. Brandon, have you done your job? Have you taken care of these ladies for us? Are they all good to go? Been here long enough. Been in with them long enough. They should all be, taken care of. What's up, Blair Bird? You're just gonna show me your good side. So, a couple weeks ago, I went ahead and moved Copper and Isaac into this pasture where typically the goats have been. But since we were without fence over here for so long, this pasture got completely just obliterated. It got overgrazed way too much. But I did move Copper and Isaac in here. They're just two old men that don't really eat a lot, honestly. And it's starting to regrow in here, especially since we got a little bit of rain. Let's go check on them real quick. Copper, why are you walking all stoved up looking? You trying to bow up at me? You want to go? You sure look stoved up, man. Isaac been pushing you around? Yeah, you stink. I know what's going on. Isaac, have you been a bully? Are you pushing young Copper around? He's not young anymore, really. Copper's a few years old, several years old now. Isaac, the old man, still kicking. These guys are starting to push around on each other because it is July 24th, and typically our does will start coming into season in August. So now, like, we don't have near as many goats as we used to. I'm really down to just a handful of does that we're going to breed to this year, but we're just a couple of weeks, really, actually about a week from when I probably should move Copper. We're going to put Copper in with the girls, not Isaac. Last year I put Copper in and Isaac found a way. This year we've got a new divider fence that runs the full length of this pasture, and the goats are in the very back pasture right now. But we'll be moving Copper over pretty soon in with the ladies, and Charlie's supervising as usual. Hey, what's up, buddy? Anyways, though, the reason these guys are in here is because the bro pen, where they've been for a long time, has not had a break. It has not had like a rest cycle in way too long. It's just a small pen, but you know, used to it kept like one buck and a steer. You know, we had Whopper or Big Mac or whoever we were feeding out at the time, and we didn't really graze it. We weren't saving it for pasture, but with all of the circumstances over the last several months, it had way too many animals, way too much grazing pressure, just like this. So I pulled these two guys out and I sprayed it because it was covered in weeds. So I sprayed this little pasture with a broadleaf herbicide probably 4 or 5 days before I left for Florida, and the weeds are starting to die off. This used to have a lot of really good Bermuda grass in it, but overgrazing does that. But the good news is there's still plenty of grass, but it just needed to be sprayed. I know I don't talk about that a lot. Most people are against spraying, but sometimes you just have to. But the weeds are dying off and the grass is coming back. I'm sure that little bit of rain we got made a big difference. Here's the situation. I know that we don't have enough good pasture for the animals that we have. So it is important to try to take care of the smaller pastures that we keep our animals in. While we do live on 110 acres, I can't just turn all of DJ's donkeys out on 110 acres. We would never see them. And it's mostly pasture. I mean, mostly timber. You guys have seen this place. I'm not complaining, but they're more like pets. So they do stay up in pastures close to the house. Like the donkey pen where Phoebe, Fallon, Farrah, and Brandon and everybody's in is about 3-ish, 4 acres. Then the pen behind the house where the goats and the rest of the donkey crew is about 5-ish acres. So it's really not big enough because there's so much shade. Shade is not a great place to grow grass. So it's just a weird balance of trying to take out enough trees to have grass and balance this whole too many animals for the grazing, you know, amount of grass that we have. My wife loves donkeys and alpacas. Alpacas, from my experience here over the last several years, are like the worst on grass. They nibble everything so close that it's just bare dirt. And a close second place is donkeys. Donkeys have teeth on top and teeth on bottom, where cows have teeth on top and a palate, or maybe it's backwards. Palate, I don't know. Horses and donkeys are pretty rough on grass too. So it's a fine balancing act. And I think we'd probably be better off taking a couple more donkeys over to the merch building because we have an abundance of grass in that little pasture. Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by Delete Me. They are the #1 data removal protection tool on the internet. It is important in today's time to protect your personal information online. But they go in and they run your information and find where it's at on places on the internet and send messages to those people and say, pull this personal information off the internet. You don't have a right to have it there. There are folks out there called data brokers who collect information on you and me. And they're going to combine your name, address, birthday, phone number, family members, maybe a social security number. And then they're going to sell that information to people that want to steal your money. And you can see we've been with Delete Me for several months now. And October, December, February, April, June. So it looks like June, they're actually, finding less and less about me on the internet. So they've reviewed 15,680 listings from 94 different data brokers. And in that, you can see they had family members' information, address, name, age, spouse. So this month they sent me some information on property and deed scams. You take some elderly folks that own multiple properties and they pass away. And if the family isn't on top of that, they may not even realize where all these properties are. So they may have some abandoned or unused property. A scammer, a fraudulent person, is going to figure out who owns that and then rent it out to somebody, to some unsuspecting person. And that just blows my mind, but it really happens with information that they're getting off the internet. So one report that I read from the American Land and Title Association said that 54% of realtors have seen an uptick in these impersonation, fraudulent title and deed things going on. Pay attention, like if you've got family members or elderly family members especially that own properties in different areas. I can see where somebody who owns some property out of state, they never go there. Someone else could absolutely rent that out or even do a rent to own. A person goes out and, does a rent to own agreement. They think they're buying this old house and they go in and they remodel it and they live in it for 6 months and somebody shows up and goes, wait a minute, that's my uncle's property. You can't do that. So please make sure that you and the people you care about are protected. You can check the link in the description box down below or go to joindeleteme.com/arms20. And if you do, you'll get 20% off when you remove your personal information online, and you'll get your first report back in as little as 7 days. But do you know who doesn't care about how much grass is in our pasture? Our sweet, deaf, old Pepper the pig. Charlie, I'm glad you keep a good eye out on Pepper because she can't hear anything. I mean, I think her vision's a little bit impaired because you can barely see her eyes most of the time. But she's without a doubt 100% deaf nowadays. I would really like to know how old Pepper is. She came here as a rescue situation a few years ago now, and we didn't know how old she was then. What's up, fellas? You two are looking rough, man. Y'all been fighting, or is it just hot and losing feathers? Hey, Pepper, I won't bother you. You just keep resting, okay? You look like you need a break, and it's stressing Charlie out that I'm even close to you. Huh, Charlie? You're a good boy, I think. I think you're a good boy. What is it, Phoebe? So, back pasture. Speaking of spraying, this pasture's got the goats and four donkeys on, and planted a lot of different stuff in here over the spring. You guys saw that we didn't graze it for several months because we didn't have any fence, and it's holding up pretty decent, but there's a lot of weeds. And I know a lot of folks think that goats will eat anything. If you put goats in with your cows eat the grass, your goats eat the weeds. That's only true to an extent. There's just a lot of things that, livestock won't eat unless they just have to. Now, I mean, if that's their only option, they will. But once you've reached that point, you're not getting good nutrition out of them, out of your ground. So I really do need to come in here and spray a broadleaf herbicide, like 2,4-D or something, and kind of take care of this. There's still so many limbs and things down from the tornado and storms from the spring, but I mean, we still do have a lot of good grass in this pasture. So I'm trying to limit the number of animals on this pasture specifically. There's a big dead spot there because that's where the donkeys all like to roll around, but for the most part, it's staying fairly green, other than the places that, you know, we had to tear up and mess up when we were redoing fences and cleaning up messes from the storms, huh? Ain't that right? How are you doing today, old lady? Old Lambert. Skip, what you been doing? You about ready for Copper to come down and visit? Copper's about ready. Yep. So that little black doe is the only kid left from our kid crop this year. I sold all the rest to a friend, and she's the only one left, and she was just too small when I sold the rest, so she stayed around, but she's plenty big enough to wean off. So when we do move Copper in here, she's gonna have to go. Yep. What's up, Baker? Hi, pretty girl. Hey, how's Baker doing? Did you miss me while I was gone? Oh, here comes Bree. Hang on, watch out, Bree. You're coming in hot, getting close. Yeah. Hi, mamas. Hey. No biting. Why are you nibbling on me? They think I'm mom. They think I brought treats like mom, huh? Oh, Baker. Is that kisses? Is that Baker kisses? You better not bite me on the chin or the ear. So donkeys are doing well here. Baker's doing great. And Bree, everybody loves Bree. It's so crazy to me still at how wild and crazy and not friendly Bree was because of Freedom. And then she just like flip-flopped on us. And this girl's always been super lovey. So I have no idea what DJ's plan is with these girls, how long, who, or what she's going to keep and what she's going to breed. I have no idea. I do know she has plenty of donkeys, and they are a mess. Yeah, you're a mess. You're spoiled rotten, aren't you? You goats are just like beggars. You know what? You stay right here in the same spot begging for feed. That's it. That's why it's just dirt right here, because that's where you hang out all the time. You got plenty of pasture out here, but that's where you stay. Ain't that right, Bear? Did you take care of everything while I was gone? I've been seeing some coyotes on our game cameras, but not anywhere close to the house, so I'm gonna say that means you're doing your job. You know it? So I've got multiple game cameras on our property and on our neighbors that I lease, and the coyotes have been making appearances quite regularly, not that far from the house. I mean, we're only on 110 acres, and then she has 160 that I lease. So either way, they're not terribly far from the house, but this guy, he's a good guardian dog. He keeps the coyotes ran away from the house and the barn and all the animals, don't you, Bear? work's done, animals are good, and Houston hasn't caught a fish in about 3 days. Maybe longer. I don't know. I'd have to count. So we're gonna head down to the creek. Houston wants to catch a couple fish, and the dogs haven't got to play in the creek in a few days either. So we're gonna go have some fun.
Hey, bear.
Earl, why are you shaking? Are you excited? You want to go play in the water?
Oh my gosh!
Kelsey, you being clumsy? Huh? Everything's too small in here for the lures we got.
Yeah.
Let's go up to bigger water.
Hey, I didn't even show what I was using.
I didn't show them what I was using. What are you using?
This is something we've never used before. This is something we have never used before in the creek. It's a,
Chatterbait.
no.
No. A topwater snake lizard mongoose.
Close.
A whopper lunker plunker.
Where are you even getting these
I don't know.
things?
I'm just making things up.
It's a something popper. What is it? I forgot.
You tell me.
I forgot.
Kelsey is chasing our fish off. Look at her.
She didn't realize
She
was
can
big
see them,
enough. Yeah.
so she's chasing them. You stay here and do that, Kelsey. We're going to go to deeper water.
Bigger fish.
There's a nice little bass right there. A lot of little fish in there. We're not fishing with teeny tiny lures right now, so we're gonna see if we can catch a couple bass over here. Kelsey, get back. Houston's going with a top water, and I got a little small crankbait. Kelsey, get out of there. Got in the moss. That's why I don't typically use bigger lures in the creek, bigger treble hook style lures, because you get all the moss. That's why I like my little trout slayer. Catches the bass and the bluegill, but we're trying something different right now.
Kelsey, no.
I can't catch anything but moss right now. Every time this thing dives, messes it up. All right, I had to call an audible. I switched downsized to a much smaller crankbait. They won't dive near as deep. The problem I was having is there's so many rocks and things out here that that crankbait was really made for a pond or a lake, something a little deeper. And every time I would come across rocks, I was catching moss. So I'm gonna try this one for a while. This one kind of slowly sinks, so I can fish this swimming hole a little deeper. Houston got the top water. We'll see if anything wants to play. If nothing will bite, Houston, I'm putting on a trout slayer.
Yeah, me too.
Ah, no, Kelsey. Kelsey, here. Hey, get out of there. Ew. Creek looks a little gross up here. Man, I ain't even had a bite. A few fish follow it, but you chasing frogs, Earl? Man, forget this. Tie on this little creature bait, some sort. I don't even know what brand or what this is, but it's a little jig with some sort of little creature on it. So I'll try it real quick, and then if I don't get a bite, I'm going to get a trout slayer. I just should have started with what I know, right? Hey, first cast, caught a bass. Hey, it's bigger than the bass you caught. Barely? You hadn't caught a bass yet.
That's why I said barely.
Well, he ain't very big. He dang sure was not interested in hitting my crankbait. Oh, sorry about that. Just threw right over you. We will see if this does the trick. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It hit the water. As soon as it hit the stinking water. Look at that. Trout slayer, bluegill, Earl, caught a fish. All right, let's see. Me and Houston couldn't catch a single fish out of this hole. Now, we were fishing with bigger crankbaits to start with, but trying to catch some bigger green sunfish. Oh, that's a baby smallmouth. That's a little tiny smallmouth. I just missed him. Put this trout slayer under a little float. I mean, we're only fishing in a few inches of water. I mean, a foot maybe out there, but that's the same water you just watched Kelsey diving into, chasing fish around. Oh, that's that same little smallmouth. Get out there. Eat it. Come on. You know you want it. Need to flip some rocks over and find some crawdads in the creek. Not to fish with, but I need to do it to send Jeff some pictures for some different colored trout slayer crawfish. Here comes trouble. She's gonna see fish and bail in here. Watch her. A little smallmouth quit playing games with me. I wonder where he went. Kelsey, I got a fish. Quit chasing them off. Kelsey, get out of the water. You're not stopping me from catching fish, though. I got a long ear this time. All right, let's go over here. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is just is what it is. I think Houston's getting frustrated over there not catching anything on his top water. I don't blame him. I was frustrated too. I switched. May have to take the float off over here because it's deeper. At least fish it a little deeper. Slide it up the line some. Earl, where are you headed? You just waiting on a fish? You got a better game plan than Kelsey. Dang. As soon as I hit stop on the camera, I know you guys probably won't believe me, but oh, I got a smallmouth. I know, because you're not fishing with the right lure. Oh, there he went. Quick release on the natural colored crawfish. I'm telling you guys, I don't know what it is. It is my all-time favorite creek fishing lure. And I'm not saying that just because we're friends with them and we know them and we're kind of sort of doing a partnership with them. But the little crawfish just works, man. It just works. Got him. Got him. Got a bluegill for Earl. Woo! Put him back, Earl. Get him and put him back in the water. Here. Can I put him back? There's a pretty good sized bass eyeballing me right here to my right. All right, y'all. Proof's in the pudding. I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't understand it. Sometimes some lures just work. And the trout slayer's it. At least in this creek. I can't say it's that way everywhere. We've not really tested it out everywhere else except our creek, our pond, and a few other small places. But guess what? It works. Houston's trying to catch some crawdads, but his buddy here's not letting him. She keeps stirring up the water. I don't think Kelsey's gonna let you catch any crawdads today. She keeps the water way too stirred up and you just can't see them, huh? Yeah. That's all right. We'll catch some. We'll come down here in a day or two when she's not with us. And the problem is you got to be able to flip rocks over and look real carefully. And Kelsey doesn't do anything carefully. No. She does everything at about...
sleep. She'll sleep carefully.
Well, when she's awake, she does everything at Mach 3 speed, so... Oh well, she's having a good time. Bear's having a good time. Earl's having a good time. Well, it's getting close to supper time. It's time to go to the house.
Oh, we have something else.
I officially outfished Houston.
For one time.
For once in like forever. Thanks to the secret lure, you know. Not secret, but magic lure.
Yeah.
But in other news, a couple of videos ago when we were at ICAST, we announced that we were doing this package bundle with crappie magnet, trout magnet, Arms Family Homestead special bundle. And a lot of folks have asked how they can buy that, and it's not available yet. We still have to do a lot of back end work to get that put together. It'll be available probably through Crappie Magnet's website. We may be able to put some on our website also. We'll just have to see how it plays out. But part of the reason it's not available yet is it's not been produced yet. But we're doing some extra colors.
It hasn't been official either yet.
Oh, it's official.
Well, like it's official that we're doing it, but not that it's...
It hasn't been produced yet.
Yeah.
But it is official. So the thing is, though, is we're going to do some custom colors to color match actual crawfish in the creek, because a lot of the colors in the crawfish or the Trout Slayer kit don't work well for us. Like solid white and a couple of them just don't work really well for us. So we're going to do some custom colors that are only available in that kit. Stuff that kind of, you know, makes more sense for what we're doing and what a lot of you guys might be using it for. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today. Remember, do something today to make somebody smile, because
you never know, it might just change the whole world. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, we'll see you on the next video. Peace.